So hello everyone, in this tutorial I want to show you how to match objects to the faces of the objects that you already have. So let me show you here what I mean. Okay, so let's say you have like a shape like this, something like this. Okay, just trying to make something that is not a sphere but close enough. Okay. Okay, let's say that's what I have, right? And you want to like create another set of faces that the curvature matches exactly to this one. Okay, so there are multiple ways to do it depending what you have in mind. So if, for example, let me turn on wireframe unshaded, which is this icon here. Let's say you want to create like a plate, right? And the geometry that you need is already there. Like you want to make something, let's say, I want to make something like this. Okay, so the geometry is already there. The edge flow is going to help me to select the faces that I want to like have to match this curvature on top, right? So when I have something like this, when the geometry is there, I can go ahead and use duplicate faces or separate faces, one of them, to create another geometry based off of these faces, right? So in this case, you're just going to select the faces that you want to have like as another object that its curve matching exactly to this. You're going to select those faces and do Shift right click. And if you look down here, it says extract faces and duplicate faces. So extract, what it's gonna do, it's gonna separate those faces and leave a hole in your object. Okay, it's gonna do this. So if I hit W, see, object mode. If I hit W and move this, you can see that now I have a hole in my object. If that's what you want to do, that would be cool. Okay, like if you want to create like a shape here, and later you can go in and remember we don't want to have holes in the object, right? You can just go in and do extrude and just fill this in. Hit extrude again. This time scale. Oopsie. No. Okay, it doesn't want to work with me. But let's say you can just extrude and then use bridge tool to connect them, right? Let's say if I want to connect these two together, just gonna go in and select these two edges, and then I can see here that I have two subdivisions, right? So when I select these two edges and I want to bridge, I'm going to bridge options here, and let's do reset setting, and for subdivision of the bridge, I'm going to put 2, right? Because I want it to match the edges here. I don't want to create an n-gon, right? So I'm going to hit apply, and it already gives me these two like edges that I need to connect it to, right? So now I can go into my modeling toolkit using the target weld and just, not these two, and just weld these edges together, right? So you can do the same for the rest of it. I'm not going to go through all of that, right? So let's just go back. So that's one way if you want to create something like this, but sometimes you might wanna, are we back? Oh, it's still separated. Okay, here we go. But sometimes you want to preserve this shape, this mesh that you have, but you want to have something on top. So in that case, when you select those faces, you don't separate them by extract face, right? You duplicate the faces. And always make sure to go into the option and check the settings here. So the offset is set to 0 by default. I think it means that when Maya separate these faces, it's not gonna push them like up and down. It's gonna stay tacked in place. So for duplicate face, so we used extract face to create that hole in the object. You can use also duplicate face. Okay, I'm going to go to setting and just reset the setting, make sure it says separate duplicated faces. That's what I want, and the offset is set to 0. I can leave it at 0, and then I can always go in and just, you know, move them up and down if I want. Okay, so I'm just going to hit apply. So now if I go to object mode and select this and move it, you can see that I have my object here, but it just used the faces that I selected to create a new object, right? So I can use that to create like a panel or whatever thing that I wanted to do, right? I'm just going to close this. So I can select all the faces and do shift right click, extrude, and then extrude them up. Now I have this panel, right? So that's one way when you have the right geometry here that allows you to select the faces and duplicate or extract them, right? But let's say you want to have like a circle or a cylinder that matches the curvature here. What do we do in that case? So in that case, in Maya, there is this tool that is called, let's see what it's called, Quadra tool, okay? So what it does is that you're going to select an object, you're going to tell Maya, okay, so this is the object that I want you to snap whatever polygon that I create on top of, okay? To do it, you're going to need to make this surface live, as it is called in Maya. So if you look through this snapping options here, the one that are showing as this magnet things, so if it's not showing for you, make sure you click on this here, okay? So in here, you can see here that says no live surface, okay? But if you hold your mouse on top of this icon next to it, it says make the selected object live. That's what we want, because that's the object that we want to match the curvature of the other object to, right? So I'm just going to click on it. So now you can see that this object has turned into green. This means that this is a live object. Now I can go into my modeling toolkit, and modeling toolkit is here, right? I can go to my modeling toolkit and click on Quadra tool. This Quadra tool is going to allow me to draw, you know, as it is called, quads or faces on top of an object that is live, right? So this object is live, so I can now go in and just put some points on top of this object and create faces. Let me demonstrate, okay? So I'm just gonna do click, 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 click. These are 4 points, right? As you can see, they're matching, they're snapping to the object that I made live, right? So I have 4 vertices here. It means I can get a you know, 4-sided face here, right? So to get that, I'm gonna hold down shift, and as soon as I hold down shift, this tool is trying to figure out, you know, okay, is this the, you know, quad face that you want to create? And that's exactly what it is. So holding down shift, I'm just gonna click, and now I have this face created. And I can use this method to create whatever shape that I want, right? Like, you know, consider the base of the shape that you want to create, and you can go ahead and just create it. Like, let's say if I want to create a pipe, I can do that. So I'm gonna put 2 more points in here, holding down shift. It's gonna show me as green, like, is this what you want to do? I'm gonna just do click, and it's gonna be selected. So you can do multiple you know, points at a time too. So I can see, okay, this is where I wanted the rest of it to be, and then I'm gonna need another face here, another face here, maybe another face here, okay? And now you can go in holding down shift. Maya is gonna guess, okay, is this the quadra that you want? No, not this one, this one. I'm just holding down shift and moving my mouse over these shapes, right? Holding down shift, moving my mouse. And when I know that this is the quadra that I want to draw, I just click, right? Again, holding down shift. This is the quadra, this is the quad, click, click, click. So this one looks a little bit off. As you can see, I'm not holding down any key on my keyboard. If you're in the Quadra tool and you hover your mouse over these points and edges, you can move them, right? So I can just grab this point, move it here, grab this point, move it here, grab this edge, look at it from different angles to see if it's the shape that I want, right? So, and you can also add edge loops here. If you hold down Control, I'm just holding down Control. Again, I'm not clicking. I'm just holding down Control. Quadra tool is gonna guess, okay, is this what you want to do? Do you want to create an edge here? Do you want to do this? I'm just hovering my mouse over my shape, right? It's like, okay, is this what you want? Is this what you want? So whenever you're set with like, okay, yeah, I want to create an edge loop here, I'm just holding down Control, hovering my mouse over it. If that's the edge that you want to create, just click, and then you have that edge, okay? You can also delete the faces if you don't want them. So if you hold down Control Shift on your keyboard, you can see that my cursor is turning into this thing that has this cross next to it. So it means that, okay, is this what you want to delete? Is this what you want to delete? So again, I'm just hovering my mouse over it. I'm not clicking, okay? So let's say this is the edge loop that I want to delete, or this is the face that I want to delete. I can just go in and click and delete it, and then release Control Shift. So to create the draw, I'm just going to hold down Shift, click, and then I have that. So holding down Shift over the faces and edges that you have already created, it says relax. So it means that it's going to try to relax them. Don't overuse it, okay? Let's say this is the plane, like the base that I want to, oops, what is that? Go away. So this is the face that I want to have, and then extrude to get to my shape, and I'm all set. I'm just going to hit Q to get out of the Quadra mode, and then don't forget this part, turn off the live surface, okay? If you don't, everything is going to be trying to snap to this, right? So I'm just going to turn this off, go to object mode. If it is hard to see for you here, you can always go to outliner to grab your objects here. So here I can see, because I separated the meshes, it just put them in this group, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and select everything, delete history. I got rid of that translation group that was here. But if you don't want these two to be in this group in the outliner, you can select both of them and hit Shift P on your keyboard, and now they're out of that group. Again, I'm selecting everything, delete history, and then you can go in and delete this group, which was empty, okay? So now I have this face. I can do Shift, right click, extrude, voila, I created a shape. Because the geometry wasn't there, like I wouldn't be able to create anything out of, this sphere to look like this and still be nice and smooth, okay? So I just used this live surface thing to create this object on top of it, right? Hope you have fun with this Quadra tool.